Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a story that is not just inspiring, but actually serves as a literal step-by-step blueprint for personal growth and lasting success. We're going to unpack a narrative framework called the Delivery Boy's Dream. We'll see exactly why this specific sequence of events is so incredibly powerful, and how it maps out a very real path from an everyday struggle to a massive opportunity.
So, let's kick things off with a fundamental question. What exactly makes a story naturally motivational? Why do some narratives just kind of wash over us, while others hit so deep that they actually drive us to change our behavior and take action? Think about the stories that have really stuck with you over the years. They usually aren't the ones where everything is perfectly easy from day one, are they? No way. They're the ones that are grounded in gritty reality.
And that brings us right to the core of today's explainer. The Delivery Boy's Dream works so perfectly as a framework because it combines genuine emotion, totally relatable challenges, and steady personal growth, all without ever selling you that illusion of instant success. There are absolutely no magic wands here. Instead, this source material outlines the ultimate blueprint for turning very small, seemingly insignificant daily efforts into massive opportunities. It's a compelling formula for a reason, and we're going to break down every single phase of the whole shebang.
Let's jump into Section 1, The Delivery Boy's Beginning. Our protagonist's exhausting daily loop starts right here. First, we have a hardworking teenager earning cash by delivering food, navigating the city on a beat-up old bicycle. But the next step is where it gets super interesting. He isn't just mindlessly pedaling. Every single day as he rides through the city, he's actively observing successful businesses and dreaming of creating something meaningful himself. And that third step? That's the hidden engine of this entire blueprint. In his precious limited free time, he isn't just zoning out. He's quietly studying coding, using free online resources. He's building his skills in the background, tool by tool.
Section 2. Facing the core conflict.
Now, this perfectly illustrates the stark contrast between his quiet ambition and the really harsh realities pulling him down. On one hand, he has these deep aspirations, right? Building something meaningful and advancing his education through coding. But his immediate reality is incredibly heavy. We're talking about a broken bicycle that literally jeopardizes his income, customers who sometimes treat him unfairly, and the immense, crushing weight of struggling to balance that heavy work, his studies, and his family responsibilities. It is just an incredibly heavy load for anyone to carry. Have you ever felt so stretched thin that you just wanted to throw in the towel? Because just like many of us, there were very real moments under this immense pressure where our protagonist seriously considered abandoning his dreams entirely. I mean, life was just difficult. When your primary mode of transportation breaks down and you're dealing with unfair treatment on top of family obligations, giving up feels like the most logical option. The source material highlights this conflict because it's a completely universal experience. We've all hit that wall where the effort seems completely disconnected from the reward.
Section 3. A crucial turning point.
So the absolutely crucial point here is how he stopped focusing solely on his own hardships and started observing the world around him with a problem-solving mindset. It's a subtle shift, but it changes absolutely everything. He had every right to be frustrated by his broken bike and difficult customers, but instead of letting that frustration completely blind him, he kept his eyes open while he worked.
And this realization was the spark. While delivering food to small local shops, he noticed a recurring pattern. Many of these local business owners were having serious trouble managing their orders and reaching their customers. They were just totally overwhelmed. Well, instead of complaining about his own situation while dropping off the food, he synthesized his current job with his new skills. He decided to use the coding he'd been studying in his free time to build a simple app to actually help them out. He found a real-world problem that he was uniquely positioned to understand and to solve.
Section 4. The climax and iteration.
I love this part because it completely dismantles the myth of overnight success. The true grind starts with countless late nights and so many failed attempts just to get the code working. Then he finally finishes and launches version 1 of the app. But guess what? At first, very few people actually use it. It was definitely not an instant hit. But rather than taking that as a massive defeat, the next phase shows the true secret to success. He actively listened to user feedback and relentlessly kept improving the app. He iterated.
Section 5. A meaningful long-term ending. Over time, more and more local businesses began using his improved app. It actively helped them receive more orders and operate so much more efficiently. Fast forward a few years later, and that former delivery boy is now leading a highly successful company that supports not just a handful, but thousands of small businesses. It's a massive scale of impact, all born from that one initial observation he made while riding his old bicycle.
And bringing the story full circle beautifully, look at how he utilizes his ultimate success. He gives back by donating the exact tools, bicycles and laptops, that he once relied on to survive and to learn. He's actively empowering the next generation of young people who, just like him, dream of a better future. It really proves that the goal wasn't just personal wealth. It was about creating a lasting system of meaningful opportunity.
Finally, Section 6, the ultimate moral.
Small daily efforts, combined with persistence and a desire to solve real problems, can create meaningful opportunities for yourself and others. I really want you to absorb this because it highlights exactly why leaning into real-world problems with daily persistence is the true engine of growth. It isn't about giant leaps, right? It's about those small, sometimes really exhausting daily efforts, like studying free coding resources after a super long shift, and combining them with a genuine desire to solve a problem you see in your own community. So, as we wrap up this incredible blueprint, I challenge you to look at your own daily grind. We all have our own version of the broken bicycle and the heavy responsibilities. But ask yourself, what local problem will you tackle today? Where can you start applying your own small efforts right now? The framework is literally right here, ready for you to use. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope this sparks some amazing momentum for your own journey.